Purdue gets a 109-62 win, eclipse 100 for the first time this season over Eastern Illinois. Definitely a tune-up game. Came out a little slow, but able to get a big-time win before getting into Big Ten play next week. We will talk about everything you need to know right here on Boilers in the Stands. Welcome back to Boilers in the Stands. I'm your host, Joe Jackson. Alongside me, as always, is my co-host, Kraig Bowers. As said in the opening, Purdue gets a big-time win, 109-62. Eastern Illinois kept it close for, 8 to 10 minutes, and then eventually Purdue kind of shook off the turkey, shook off the rest from the Bahamas, and was able to just basically pull away and, show that they're a really good team. Definitely a game that it's hard to have grand takeaways, but we'll still break down kind of everything from the players and things like that stood out. Kraig, throw it to you. How's your Thanksgiving and anything really like major takeaway from this game for you?
Thanksgiving was great. We got some music going on in the background here, and they're playing closing time to try to get everybody out here. Well, hopefully YouTube doesn't.
Yeah. Hopefully you can't hear it in the backgrounds. Let us know actually in the comments if you can. But sorry to interrupt you there, Kraig. But yeah, go ahead.
You're good. Yeah, let us know in the comments so we don't get this video stripped down by YouTube later on. But yeah, in terms of Thanksgiving, it was good. First time that my daughter and I actually had to cook the entire Thanksgiving dinner, so it was a little trying. I can't say that we hit it out of the ballpark with the pecan pie, but outside of that, it was a really good day.
There you go.
This is throwing me, man. This is throwing me.
Yeah, no, we got the music playing. This is going to be definitely a little bit definitely shorter post-game show for us. I don't think really for either of us gigantic takeaways. Jacobson has a big game. We'll talk about him, I'm sure, first. Maybe Jakari can use this game to kind of springboard a little bit. I don't know. It's one of those, right? It's one of those games where this will be the least probably entertaining game Purdue has all season. They play a team in Eastern Illinois who has struggled and has struggled really the entire season. So no major takeaways definitely from us, but it was good to see them just kind of get loose after the first 10 minutes. And that's why you play this type of game is you get back ready for Big Ten play starting next week. Big time matchup against Iowa State in Mackey Arena next Saturday. So get a tune up for that. I think the only sort of maybe takeaway for me is just like the defensive rotations and efforts. Like it seems like Purdue's trying to apply a little bit more ball pressure and get in the gaps a bit more, in addition to kind of having the rotations on the backside, getting closer to the rim. But that's really the only major takeaway. And some of that might just be due to like being literally able to just get in passing lanes better against this Eastern Illinois team. If you got nothing, like we can just kind of jump straight into the players. Like I said,
I do have one major takeaway, especially after coming off of that Baja Mar trip where we saw contributions in major ways other than the big three. 57 bench points today, Joe. And I mentioned to you when I saw that's got to be the largest amount of bench points this Purdue team has had in a long time. I can't remember a game where it was even close to that in the last few years. Yeah. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong if they look it up. But, I mean, I thought today, honestly, just it showed that off again, that this team isn't just about the big three. CJ comes out hot right away again, right? Hits 2 threes super early on in this game. And then honestly, we talk about that sluggish start. And as I was watching that, I laughed the other day when Hurley was like, we're not eating Thanksgiving on Thursday because we play on Friday. And we're not going to have all that tryptophan in our system on Friday. And I laughed at it. And I was watching that first 10 minutes. And I was like, maybe Hurley was on something here. I don't know. Who knows? But I really thought it was the bench players that came in that got this team going from a defensive intensity standpoint, because we look sluggish out of the gate offensively, but more importantly, defensively. Offensively with sloppy, unforced turnovers. But on the defensive end, I thought we looked really sluggish and didn't take what we accomplished in that Texas Tech game and roll it straight into this game out of the gate. But Jacobson and Meyer, to me, when they came in on that rotation, Meyer was getting his hand on balls and passing lanes and just disrupting dribblers. And Jacobson, obviously, we're going to get to him in a second, but 6 blocks, He blocks 2 threes in this game, throws away a guy mid-range shot that was in the middle of the lane. I really thought in a big way they kind of spurred like, hey, like let's get after it as a team, right? But this team should not be scoring at the ease that they were to start that game.
Yeah, no, I think that is very fair. Good game for Meyer. We might talk about Meyer second. We'll see. But let's get to Jacobson, like you said. A lot of people here. I was like, why are there so many people? But I forgot that Purdue also plays Indiana in football after this. Busy couple days here in Mackey Arena or West Lafayette. But Jacobson, 24 points, has 9 rebounds, 6 blocks, adds in, I believe, an assist as well. Right. Again, we're the obvious caveat, and we'll throw this just the one statement right now, and it covers this entire show. It's Eastern Illinois. Like, yes, the talent isn't there. They don't have the size, all that. Like, we'll put that caveat for just the entire show right now. But Jacobson looked very comfortable. Like, it was good to see him know, like, oh yeah, I have a gigantic size advantage. Like, I am more skilled. Like, I am just going to impose my will. Doesn't miss a shot from the floor. Only misses 1 free throw. I believe only has 1 turnover as well. So was it just good to see the energy, the effort, and some of the physicality really from the jump from him.
And it looked intentional by PJ and by Painter that, hey, like we're going to get Daniel going a little bit more in this game, because they were going to him early and often in this one. And it wasn't just, lobs, right? It wasn't some, Braden come off in a pick and roll or TK from the high low, just pitching a lob when he had the advantage. They were giving it to him and letting him post up and go. And I don't remember if I mentioned it on Twitter or when I got to hop on the postgame show. No, because I didn't hop on the Texas Tech postgame show, but I thought he's just started to show more patience. And, early on in this season, I was like, dude, you're 7'4". Like, take your time. Your game in terms of getting a shot up is not about how fast you can get it up. Take your time, use your size advantage, make sure you're on balance when you go into your move, and you're going to hit that shot. And I think he's did that on a lot of possessions today, where he just took his time, got collected, made the simple move, and scored. Also scored over 2 or 3 people a couple of different times. Some of that is just his size. Obviously, Eastern Illinois is extremely small. But man, his shot looks good too. And I got to go grab it. There's so many people in the comments. I got to go grab it. There we go. So Blake Widmer says, Wazy said that DJ has now made 18 straight field goals, a school record, and the streak is not broken yet. That does include a 3-pointer, I believe, in the Texas Tech game as well. So that's really impressive stuff. But to me, it was his defensive intensity. 6 blocks today, like I said. 2 of them were closing out on 3-point shooters. There was another one that the ball still hit the rim that I swear he got fingertips on too. And I don't know where they draw the line of what's considered a block or not. Like, if it just affects the shot, who knows? But really impressive stuff from him, I thought, throughout the entire game. And like I said, I thought he kind of ignited this team getting going defensively.
Yeah, he imposed his will for sure. It felt like seeking blocks more than maybe he has kind of recently. Although, I mean, he's had now 5 games of 2+ blocks. Yeah, he's not missed a shot since Akron, in which he went 4 of 5. He's shooting 50% from 2 on 4 attempts. He's 2 of 4 from 3, and he's 26 of 34 now from 2, which is 76.5%. Didn't realize it was that efficient. I know obviously most of his shots are right at the rim, but still very impressive stuff to see from him. Next guy, I'll let you pick, Meyer or Jakari.
Well, real quick, Joe, he had 6 blocks. How many did Purdue finish with as a team? Don't look.
I know, I'm trying to think if there was another block. I don't think there was 6.
No, we finished with 6. I think that's happened in a couple of games where, like, whatever blocks we have are just Jacobson. And our block percentage on Ken Palm has actually been creeping up. Like, it's not that bad, but it's literally all Jacobson, basically, and Clough every once in a while. So, who do we want to go to next? Let's go. I mean, I think we just talk about the big room in general, because the big room was dominant. I believe there was 58 points in the paint today. And obviously, again, Eastern Illinois is not big, but still, they got to come out and do it. between Trey Kaufman-Renn, Oscar Clough, and Daniel Jacobson, they missed 3 total field goals from the field. Go, what would that be? 11, go 19 for 22. And all 3 of those misses actually come from TK.
Yeah, the bigs dominated right away. It felt very clear early on that was the point of emphasis, just to try to put this game away. Was just pound the ball inside. I mean, they were doubling early, and TKR had one or two bad decisions where maybe you went a little bit quicker, but I mean, he still got his aggression on the boards continued. Clough, similar to Jacobson, was just like, oh yeah, I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you. Like, I'm just gonna go get a couple of these. I thought Clough was pretty good defensively. They did mix in some hedge towards the end of the first half. I assume that was more of just like we're just going to kind of get some more reps with this and more practice. So that is the only other thing that really stood out is I think they still want to have the ability to mix between drop coverage and hedge against pick and rolls. Where they started mainly in dropping in this one, moved to that hedge kind of towards the end of the first half, trying to really apply pressure, push the ball handlers out. So, yeah, I mean, great game from all three great games from everybody, but the 3 bigs definitely just kind of dominated from the start, and it was very clear early on that Eastern Illinois just didn't have an answer for them. I mean, they only have two guys over 6 or one guy over 6'8", and nobody listed over 220 pounds. That's just a tough matchup for the Eastern Illinois bigs.
Oh, no doubt. And I mean, Clough doesn't get a lot of minutes in this game. 17, he got more than I thought. I thought he was actually on the bench more than that. But I mean, look good. Wasn't a huge Oscar Clough game compared to what we've seen to him in the past. But it really felt like I said, the coaching staff wanted to get Jacobson going. And this was a game they certainly could do that. I thought TK did a really nice job. Go ahead.
No, I was sorry, one thing just popped up with Clough. Clough has scored 9+ points in all 7 games now. And I believe he's had at least, he had 5 rebounds today, which is his fewest, obviously mainly because of minutes. It was his fewest minutes. He's also had 9+ rebounds in like 5 of the 7 games. So even with a little bit of a shaky start, like I think it's fair to say he didn't have an awesome start to the year. He's still very much producing and has been from the jump. So just wanted to throw that one out there.
Yeah, and I'm not sure after this game whether he's still averaging a double-double or not with the 5 rebounds in this particular game, but came into this game, I believe, averaging a double-double. And if he's not, it's still going to be really close because he had, 15 against Texas Tech, I think. So yeah, that ought to balance some there.
Yeah, he's like at 10.1.
Okay, so just there still. I thought Trey did a really nice job of, Eastern Illinois was doubling them. They made it real clear early on they were going to double them. And I thought he did a really nice job of making the right read and making the right pass. There was, it always seems like there has to be one play at the beginning when he's getting doubled, like every single game where he forces it. And then he's like, oh, wait, like make like that kicks in now. Like, okay, make the right play. I can't force it. There was that one moment in this game where he forced one that I think gets blocked or leads to a turnover or whatever. But then after that, I thought the rest of the game he was in there. He made the right play, and it'll be interesting when we get to plays of the game. I'm going to review the ones because there was a lot today. But early on in the first half, my play of the game would have been just a simple read by him that leads to a kick, cross court, swing for a Fletcher Loyer 3, or for a Braden Smith 3, sorry. That to me just exemplified Trey making the right read and then everybody else making the right decision extremely quick to get a really good look.
Yeah, that was in the running for me as well. Like you said, there's like 45 it feels like to pick from for play of the game in this one, but yeah, that one is specifically, that was like skip pass, and then like four of the 5 Boilers touched the ball without, I think, it even hitting the floor, and then like you said, Braden is able to knock down the 3. So anything else on the big room for TKR? Clough, Jacobson, dominant today.
Dude, are we going to add Benter into the big room? He's a 4. He's a 4.
He does play the 4. That is very true. He does play the 4. We could jump to him though if we want to. He kind of got, started getting going a bit later in the game with some of the walk-ons and that. 9 points, did knock down 2 very deep threes. Didn't have a rebound or anything, but I like the one thing that stood out, right, aside from just the shooting and also him trying to tomahawk dunk twice, was the defensive rotations. They continue to stand out of like, yeah, he's in the right spot. Now they're, especially with him playing the four, there are going to be matchups where he just is going to get overpowered, but he consistently just ends up in the right spot defensively. And that stands out. And that's, sometimes that can be just as important as actually having the athleticism to try to make plays. So that was my only big takeaway from him. And like I said, the couple dunks that he tried, he can do them, but it was just funny to try to see him get him down.
Yeah, I like Benner is going to be an elite shooter, and for whatever reason, that hasn't dropped consistently yet to start this season. But you got to see a little window right there at the end of the game of who he is as a shooter, and both of those had to be 28 to 30 feet. I mean, they were deep. One was into shot clock, and then he was like, okay, I'm going to shoot the same shot 5 seconds into the shot clock the next time down. But that's who he is. He is an absolute elite shooter. You're going to see it eventually. Still this year, I'm positive it's going to happen. But got a little window there. I kind of looked at you and said, maybe he just needed to step back. Shooting from the 3-point line's too close to the rim for him. But I thought it was hilarious on that corner one where he tries to tomahawk dunk it, because he had a good look from 3. And it was like, I'm going to try to make this harder. I'm going to go up and try to tomahawk dunk over 2 people. But end of the game, you're trying to bring highlights. And honestly, if he hits that dunk, that's my play of the game. But not quite.
At that point in the game, you just get to try stuff. And I don't even think Painter can be mad at that one, right? Like, it's whatever at that point. Good game from him. Good game from everybody. We can just say that about everybody. Let's go to Jakari. That's who I think I want to talk about next. 12 points, 6 rebounds, goes 5 of 8 from the floor, has 2 assists, 3 steals, does have 2 turnovers. Right, he's the one guy in the rotation that has definitely been struggling pretty consistently. I think the defensive effort's still been there, but obviously, we'll talk about CJ in a second. CJ has really made that leap of being the scorer. Jakari hasn't, and that's part of why some of the minutes aren't always there. Just good to see him get the ball to go in, makes a couple tough layups. Defensive energy, defensive intensity was there, getting in passing lanes, on ball defense like normal. It really, the only major thing is just you hope that this can kind of carry into, getting him some confidence again, and just letting him be able to convert, especially some of the easier ones near the rim that he's kind of struggled with early on this season.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see him get going. I'm not sure if I'm completely there in terms of just looking comfortable of what he wants to do all the time and when to attack, when not to attack. But, it's a step in the right direction, right? He sees some shots go through. Like you said, he hits a couple tough one. He had that one where he did like I think the guy that reminds me most of, I think Stockton used to do it for the Utah Jazz, where he like dribbled down underneath the rim and then just like did a full circle, came right back, or like a little 4-foot circle, came right back around and went into a layup that was a pretty nifty little play. Hits a 3 from outside. So I don't know. It's got to get him going. After a few games this year, a lot of the conversation from outside the people covering Purdue directly, and even us a little bit, was like, hey, when's kind of the supporting cast going to get going? And then Bahamar happens, and it's like, okay, they're going. And really the only one you hadn't seen get going yet was him, like you said. So if you get him going, and then there's just really not a weak link on this team. And then it just makes them that much harder to beat. I thought Meyer was really good today. And I honestly, this is the first time I've said this all year. Like, I thought he was really, really good defensively. I thought he was aggressive. I thought he was disrupting ball handlers, just getting swipes and getting touches. Got into passing lanes. He had the one breakaway where he kind of got caught between, do I want to lay this up or do I want to dunk it? And then he ends up missing it. But really, really good. And again, he gets that mid-range. That's still my favorite part of his game. And like, I want him to go to that even more. I realize a lot of coaches hate mid-range, but obviously Painter doesn't, because he lets Braden and Fletch go to it all the time. And I think Meyer is just absolutely elite at that, 2-3 dribble, pull up from 15 foot, feel like it's going to go in every time. But really good game all around. Got going more offensively later, but I was just really impressed. Even if he's not 100% technically sound defensively yet in terms of rotations and everything else. He's really brought energy and intensity on that end of the floor.
And I like the off-ball defense. I thought a lot of the rotations were there, like some of the tags and some of the things like that. Now, he still has the random moments where just like it's just like when he's off, it's just like badly off in terms of defensive rotations. But for the most part, I thought it was really good. Like you said, I think the defensive energy felt more comfortable. At this point, he is looking comfortable being a backup point guard at the college level. Like he seems very much comfortable being that guy and being a guy who can run the offense when Brain's not on the floor or be that complementary piece when he is on the floor. It'll be interesting, right? If Jakari doesn't kind of find the shots and some of the finishing on the interior, right? Meyer's defense is getting closer to where it's like, yeah, you can probably just live with it, especially knowing just how insanely good this offense will be with him and Loyer on the floor, alongside obviously the other three. So it's just going to be good to see. I mean, Meyer, I think, he's doing he's doing a better job than I expected of limiting turnovers. Only has had 2 games with 2+ turnovers. He had 3 against Akron and 2 against Texas Tech. So I think that's been a positive sign too. And I know he's only played between 10 and 20 minutes a game, but still, I think the turnovers haven't been nearly as bad as I thought they could be, just kind of given his style. He just seems very comfortable and very much adjusted to where he needs to be used.
Yeah. And I mean, that was one of my kind of sticking points early on of like, know when to make the difficult pass, know when to make the easy pass, and feel like he's getting there. And they got into some big time games. And I think that decision making gets sped up quicker of like, all right, like, we can't mess around with some of this stuff. Speaking of turnovers, Tamaz J5823 said 8 turnovers in the first 10 minutes sucked. It felt that like EIU was getting a lot of weird shots to go in, like banking threes with shot clock running out too. You and I talked about that a little bit, that it just seemed like, okay, where are some of these shots coming from that they're getting in? But more importantly, I brought that up from the turnover standpoint. I didn't realize until I checked after the game, they finished with 10. Like They had 9 in the first half, and I think they had 8. Yeah, I think 8 of those were super early on. Like they said in the comment here, and then to only finish with 10, like so many of those were just unforced, and it felt a little bit lackadaisical coming out, not real focused. Only really felt like 2 or 3 of those were because of the defensive pressure. The rest of it was just not being dialed in right out of the gate, but still impressive that they only finished with 10 on the entire game. I think coach would live with 10 turnovers a game 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. That's where, right, even if it had kept up a little bit, it's one of those games. You don't take too much from the first 10 minutes. Like they hadn't played it in a week. They had international travel and Thanksgiving. And yeah, it's just one of those games where you come out flats. It's fine. I also think, right, especially at this point, Braden, Fletch, and TKR, they understand the moments. Like I don't want to say I don't know, like they know that they can coast a little bit in this one and they're going to be fine. So I think there's some of that as well. That's honestly why we're talking about probably more of the bench players to start, is like, that's kind of who stood out more just in this game. We know Braden, Fletch, and TKR are going to do their thing, and we can talk about them in a sec, but it is, these are the games where you can really get the bench guys going. And that is what Purdue did for this one. I'm kind of looking through, right? CJ is, I guess, the only other non-big 3 we haven't really talked about. He has 8 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, knocked down his first 2 threes, missed his next 3, does finish 3 of 8 from the field. It feels weird when he misses, is kind of my takeaway. Like, especially after making the first 2, it's just like, oh, he kind of like, it just doesn't, it felt weird that he missed a couple more, but obviously he still shot really well. He's up to, I believe, close to 50% from 3 on the year. He's at 44% from 3 on the year right now. So I really don't got much on CJ. Like, good game overall, knocked down a couple shots.
Yeah, he's incredible from the corner too. And when teams double TKR, like CJ's gonna be the guy in the corner most of the time. And I don't know. We could go to college basketball analytics if you want to pull it up real quick, but it feels like he's shooting 60 or 70% from those corner threes, and it's just absolute money. he also just seems to be in the right place at the right time on like loose balls around the rim. And I'm assuming just because like he is a really good rebounder from that guard spot and generally crashes in. But there are so many times where a big will get a rebound and then it gets stripped a little bit and they're fighting over it. And it just seems like CJ's always there to pick it up and put it right back in. He had one of those today as well. But I think it's a really good sign that Purdue is going to him early in games. This is the third game in a row now that CJ gets some points in the first, 5 or 6 points that Purdue scores. Just one to get him going, but also it just seems super consistent from that corner three where they've gone to him a few times and just feel like that's going to go in and get things rolling.
Yeah, it's been good to see, especially right. He's not going to get stuff ran for him. He might get a play or two. He has to be able to not. It's a tough spot, right? To be like, hey, you don't know how many shots you're actually going to get, but you're going to randomly get opportunities, and you just kind of have to capitalize on them because who knows when you're going to get more. It just kind of depends on how the defense wants to play against you, and so far he's just been able to capitalize. And I know they will run maybe a play or two for him, but yeah, he just like you said, I think just does a good job of being where he needs to be at all times. He's played basically this exact same role now for a year or season and a quarter or whatever it is that we're through the season. So I think that's also being able to help. Anything else in CJ? If not, we'll get to the other backcourt.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you got to see the question that I asked Painter in the post game after Texas Tech, but it is so rare that I put it up as a reel on our official Boilers in the Stand account, Joe. But anyway, past in the post-game show or the post-game press conference after Wake Forest, like it is so weird to see action run for him because you hear Painter talk all the time about the other guys have to score in other ways. We're not going to run stuff for him. But 2 of the first 3 plays in that Texas Tech game, PJ ran action specifically for CJ. And both times he ends up calling TK over into pick and roll. The one time he feeds TK on a bounce pass and a short roll, he scores. And then the very next time CJ hits a pull up. And Painter specifically said in that game that, he'd had so much success against Memphis that PJ drew up 2 actions for him right away to get him going, get the team going off the jump. So, but it is rare. And like in this game, it didn't feel like you saw him run anything for him.
Yeah, I don't recall any, but that's how efficient CJ is he can just kind of capitalize whether it is for him or not. I think the only 2 we haven't talked about is Braden and Fletch. Braden 5 points on 4 shots, has 10 assists, 2 rebounds, 1 turnover, 2 steals. He was just like, he came out of the second half and was just like, hey, I'm going to get to 10 assists and you can't really stop me from doing it. And I think he had 6 assists in the first 5 minutes of the second half. I really don't have anything actually the one thing I have on Braden, and it's kind of the theme when looking back at the Texas Tech game and this game, I have felt it's felt like a very noticeable jump in defensive energy and effort from him. Some of his rotations, his digs and recovers, his closeouts, just even on ball, kind of trying to poke at the ball a bit more. I don't know if Painter's kind of ripped into him or if maybe I'm just seeing things. I don't know, but it just has felt like he's been more intentional about how he's moving defensively. So that's the only thing I got from him on this game, other than his passes were sick.
He only took 4 shots.
Yeah. He didn't want to shoot.
He took 4 shots this game. And there was a play in transition and that, I don't know. I think he racked up 3 or 4 assists really quickly and was, hunting assists. And in transition, he dishes it to TKR. TKR sends it back to him. He dishes it out to CJ. CJ gives it back to him. And he was just playing hot potato with the ball and looking at him like, what are you doing? Shoot the ball. He did not want to have, and then he ends up taking a shot. But definitely was hunting those assists out there, which is fine. It's great for the team to get everybody else involved. It's just going to get them that much more confidence as we get later on in the season. I don't think it's assist hunting in terms of I'm specifically keeping track of where I'm at and trying to break the record or anything like that. That's just what he loves to do and does it at an extremely high level. 129.7 offensive efficiency on KenPom now for this team. I think you said that's the second highest in history on KenPom.
Just behind Duke last year.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, he's ahead of that snake. Even if he did, how many minutes did he play today? He gets 24? In 28 minutes.
23.
Oh, I'm sorry, 23 minutes. I was looking at plus minus. Yeah, he gets in 23 minutes. That's one thing I do love about this year is I don't know what he's averaging in minutes now, but it is definitely significantly lower than last year. Some of that's been because we've been able to have some blowouts and get him on the bench early. But a lot of it, too, is just the confidence that I think Painter has in Meyer, even in close games, to be able to spell him and give him a little bit more of a break. And I don't care what either of them say about how many minutes he can play and how durable he is and everything else. It's going to pay off if he gets a little bit more rest throughout the season and takes less wear and tear on his body.
Yeah, if Meyer's able to really be that guy, like it does help so much. We'll see what it ends up being once we get into conference play in some of these bigger games. Like, right, he played 37 against Memphis. He played 37 against Oakland, 34 against Bama. So I would expect the numbers to climb, but getting him some of these minutes now helps. If Purdue can keep having some blowouts, that's going to make things easier as well. So, yeah, only other guy we haven't talked about is Fletch, and I mean, this was a Fletch game for sure. In terms of he had 15 points on 4 shots, 4 of 4 from 3, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. And it was just like, I don't know. It was just good to see him take some ones where it's like, oh, you wouldn't have taken that last year. Like I will keep harping on it. Like he is firing from 3 this year. Like he has taken 22s and 46 threes on the year. Last year he took basically the same number of 2s as 3s. Like it is very deliberate this year of even if you are slightly open, shoot the ball. Like that had to be drilled into him all offseason. If you are slightly open, shoot the ball. He is now 24 for 46 from 3 on the year, 52.2%. Just nuts.
Well, Blake was wrong. Blake said he was almost at 48%, but he's at 52.4% on the year.
52.2.
52.2. Impressive stuff. Best shooter in the country. Was today the most 28 to 30 footers that have been hit in Mackey since Carson Edwards was here?
Had to be. That one from Loyer was deep. That one was deep.
Well, Loyer had 2 real deep ones, and Benner had 2 real deep ones. So I think so. And it's exciting, right? It doesn't mean much if it's right at the 3-point line or if it's a 30-footer, but man, it gets people excited in Mackey and gets them off their feet. So Fletch had a Fletch game for, what he needed to do in this specific game. Great to see him keep shooting well, see where that percentage goes as they get into playing high-level teams more consistently. Although looking at the Big Ten, the bottom of the Big Ten is no bueno, Joe. There's got to be some chances for some blowouts, one of which might be the next game that we play out in Rutgers, which Joe and I will have a preview show for sometime between now and then. We're trying to get them out a couple of days early to give you guys plenty of times to digest them. Our viewer numbers on the preview shows are way, way up, almost double from last year. So thank you very much to all the listeners that have added that to your rotation to get a little bit of info about what you should see. And Joe and I are right some of the time. What you should see as we head into those games.
Yeah, so definitely check those out. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification. You'll get notified when we do go live or when our previews do drop. Player of the game, game ball. I'll let you just pick whichever of the 2 you want first.
I'll go play of the game. And because Benner missed that dunk, I can't give it to Benner for the second game in a row, which would have been wild if I would have given Benner play of the game 2 games in a row. I'm going to go. So there was a 3-point shot from Loyer in transition, which wasn't a true behind the back pass, but he kind of drops it behind his back as he passes him, and Loyer pulls up. Oof, that was
the deep one.
That was the deep one. I'm going to go with that one for my play of the game, even though I did love the team symmetry that involved all those guys in the play that we already discussed.
Yeah, I mean that was probably going to be it for me, but I'll go I'll go with a non-flashy one to just because it keeps popping up in my head. It's the one where early in the first half, Meyer kind of rips baseline and just has like a crafty finish around the rim, converts and one through some contact, and just kind of readjusts. For me, I just like seeing that because I think the finishing at the rim was one of the biggest questions I had about him coming into Purdue, and obviously that one play does not answer every question, but it is good to see him be able to just kind of have that malleability as he drives to absorb some contact, finish at the rim still. So I'll go with that. Also, it was a really sweet finish. So I'll go first for player of the game. Then I'll give it to, I think there's a pretty easy choice of Daniel Jacobson, 24-9, 6 blocks, doesn't miss a field goal in only 18 minutes.
6 blocks in 18 minutes. Wow. I'm going to give it to Omer Meyer. And less about what he did offensively, even though I thought he had a nice offensive game, but I really just thought he changed the tone defensively in terms of on-ball perimeter pressure, relative to what everybody else was doing out on the perimeter defensively until he came in. And I thought he did just a lot of really good things there. Finishes with 2 steals, but more importantly, just was disruptive the entire time that he was in the game on that end of the floor. So I never thought at the beginning of this season, Joe, that my first time I gave Meyer player of the game, it was going to be for what he brought on the defensive end. But here it is, and that's a testament to him that he's come on so fast on that end of the floor.
Yeah, no, it's been impressive for sure. So we got a couple starred comments, and we'll get through those and then get out of here. Nothing to see here. So did Jacobson not get a medical rusher for last year? I believe he did, or is the process technically like he can apply after his 4th year for it? But he'll get it. He definitely will get a medical red shirt.
I'm 95% sure that process is done like when you're going for the extra year. So he might still be listed as a sophomore, but I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the way it works.
Yeah, I believe that's how it is. Either way, he will get it for sure. SLK Boiler said every game it's someone different. Love that about this team. Yeah, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 players in double digits today. Jack had 9, CJ had 8. Braden was the lowest scorer out of all the 9 rotational players with 5 points. So it has been impressive, definitely, to see kind of this team evolve and become more than just the big 3. And right, the big 3 in itself is good enough to take Purdue to, on a deep run, but having that support is what can be the difference between like an Elite 8 run and a national championship. Another one from SLK Boiler says, can you talk about what you think Painter will do with the rotation going forward? Seems like he's never had this many. To me, it feels pretty set with there's a couple. The only big thing will be, does Meyer eat into Jakari's minutes more and more? Like that to me feels like the only kind of question mark. Right. Benner's going to get the backup 4 minutes. He'll take in a normal game, probably 8 to 10 of those. Clough and Jacobson to me both feel anywhere from 15 to 25, depending on the game and kind of who has it going. But that's the Meyer Jakari is really the only one that to me is a question mark. And does Jakari get cut out? I don't know. Other than that, though, it feels pretty. I just don't see it switching anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% there. I was trying to figure out why they were taking everything off the court so fast, and then I remembered that Purdue volleyball plays against IU in Mackey tomorrow, and that's why they're taking the goals and everything down. So come out and support the volleyball team tomorrow.
Yep.
They've had a little bit of a rough stretch with a few losses up against some highly ranked teams as well. But they're still having an incredible season, getting ready to head into the postseason after this IU match. So come out and support them as well. Mallory Bowers, many of you got to know her face during the Memphis game as the camera kept finding her for reactions. Says BTFU.
And there we go. So we said we were hoping to keep this under 45. Oh, you got it.
I do have one question. And you are probably the worst person to answer this because you despise the AP poll more than anybody I know.
Okay.
or at least think it holds as little value as anybody that I know.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the right way.
does Purdue stay number one in the AP poll when it's released on Monday?
I don't know. I think they probably will, but Michigan's probably going to give them a run for their money, just with how dominant they were. If I have to give a definitive answer though, I'll say Purdue hangs on.
In the first 10 minutes of this game, I thought, oh boy, if this ends up being like a 10 or 12 point win, Michigan probably leapfrogs them, but Purdue ends up just absolutely dominating in the end with a big point differential. So I do think Purdue stays number one. I do think Michigan will leapfrog Arizona and go number two. Also, it's just awesome, Joe, for all the talk over the last however many years now about can the Big Ten win a national championship. It's yet to be seen if they can or not, but it's very, very clear that two of the best four teams in the country are in the Big Ten.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's even, I mean, a couple more. Like the bottom of the Big Ten is bad, but the top of the Big Ten is very, very good. Depending on what your views of Illinois, even like Michigan State, like those are two teams for sure going to be feisty. I know we both like Wisconsin a lot. I think they can be really feisty. Indiana, Iowa look like they could do something. There's definitely the top end is very, very good. It's just there's a gigantic gap to the bottom end, and that's kind of where the Big Ten's at. But I don't know. This could be the year. Hopefully, it is Purdue that is taking it down. Maybe we get a Purdue Michigan championship game. That'd be fun. I for my brand personally, that would be incredible. So that's what I'm going to be rooting for. And hopefully Purdue can be cutting down the nets. Got a long way to go until then. Big Ten play does start next Tuesday though against Rutgers. As Kraig said, we'll have a preview out. Probably, if I were to guess, Sunday, but maybe Saturday, maybe Monday. Who knows? If you turn on bell notifications, you'll get notified as soon as we go live. Make sure to like and subscribe on the way out. Follow us on Twitter at Boilers and Stands. Follow us on. I've never had Facebook. Is follow on Facebook the correct terminology?
Yes, follow and like. We just launched a Facebook page specifically for Boilers in the Stands. We'd kind of run everything through Bragg's in the Stand account before, but wanted to start sharing some clips, especially from press conferences and stuff, on Facebook, rather than watching other people share the clips that we make under their name. So I decided we're going to go ahead and start one of those. Look for a potential Instagram and TikTok account as well if you are on those platforms. Are you on TikTok, Joe?
No, I deleted
it. Okay. I have it, but I don't really use it. So I'm going to have to learn that. I'm probably going to have to my daughter set that account up for me, but we're going to put out some content in some variety of ways so that everybody gets to consume it on their preferred platform.
Yep. So big things coming. I don't know if big things, but more coming from us definitely on Boilers in the Stands. Shout out Kraig. He's definitely been the one kind of pushing a lot of this and propelling Boilers in the Stands forward. So preview show this weekend. Purdue plays Rutgers on Tuesday. I believe it is an 8 p.m. Yeah, 8 p.m. tip at Rutgers FS1. Any concern of the Purdue number one at Rutgers? We'll see. I know that shot from Harper will be brought up probably 55 times during that broadcast. But regardless, Purdue will be heavy favorites going in there. They get the big win today, though, against Eastern Illinois. And yeah, kind of move back into Big Ten play. A couple big time matchups in December. The quantity of games goes way down in December, but the quality of games goes way up kind of across college basketball. So going to be exciting time. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe on the way out, and we will see you in the next one.